Spurgeon here with RevZilla TV to talk to you today about the British Customs Cafe seat available at RevZilla.com. So the British Customs Cafe seat is for you riders out there on modern classic Triumph motorcycles. You simply want to increase some comfort over the OEM seat, and you also want to improve the aesthetic. You want to go from a two-up seat to a single seat with a nice cafe look to it. British Customs allows you to do that without any major modifications to your frame. This seat is going to be for you riders out there on the Bonneville, the T100, the Scrambler, the Thruxton. You know who you are. If you have any doubts as to whether or not this seat's going to fit your Triumph, make sure you're using the bike finder on our website. It'll get you set up with the right seat every time. Install for this on our BSD, or beard scale of difficulty for installation, it's going to be a 1 out of 3. When I threw this on my Triumph out in the parking lot, it took me about 15 to 20 minutes, and it shouldn't take you any longer. So with that being said, we're going to talk more about install at the end, but right now let's jump in and talk about what sets the Cafe seat apart from other seats out there in the market. So British Customs got their start in developing custom motorcycles out of Triumph products. So what you've seen is a company that really has these high-end quality custom builds, and the parts they make for their custom builds, they mass produce for you to install on your bikes so you can give your modern classic Triumph a nice custom look as well. And that's really what we see here with the Cafe seat. They've given you a nice seat that bolts right onto your Triumph and allows you to improve the aesthetics as well as the comfort over your bike. So as we break this down, the first thing that I want to start off by talking about is ride height. So British Customs says that when you put this on your bike, it's not going to change the ride height whatsoever. Here's what I want to tell you. When I threw this on my T100 out front, and currently installed, I've got a Thruxton gel seat from Triumph, it's the OEM seat, it actually increased the ride height by about a ½ inch. I've got about 20 to 30,000 miles on that seat, so it is possible that my seat's broken in a little bit more. But just keep in mind, when you put this on your bike, it might increase the ride height just a little bit, at least until you break it in. So I just want to get that out there right away. Now, the construction on this, first and foremost, we've got a nice covering on this. This is going to be a marine grade vinyl. So this is going to be for you riders out there that simply are going to ride no matter what. Whether it's raining, whether it's sunny, you're going to have this on your bike and you're going to be out tearing it up. And it's going to hold up and it's going to look as great the day you get rid of your bike as the day you put it on your bike. Now, underneath this is really where we're going to get the comfort upgrades. So what British Customs has done is they've got a dual density seat here, and it's not going to be affected at all with this back hump. Keep in mind, this is just for aesthetics. There's no passenger pillion comfort here whatsoever, and this is not intended for that. So all of your comfort upgrades are going to be right where you want it in your seat. You're going to have a thick layer of foam on the bottom, and then on top of that foam, they're going to do a proprietary gel that they impregnate into it. So what that gives you is that foam acts as a suspension, and then the gel actually acts as your comfort base, and you can actually ride this for much longer. I will say, even after putting the gel seat, the Comfort OEM seat on my Triumph, putting this on to replace that, huge upgrades in comfort, even over the comfort seat available from Triumph. So they did a really good job of giving you a seat that does increase your comfort. Now, the other thing you're going to see is when you install this on your bike, they've actually raised this layer up a little bit, so it's going to expose a little bit more of the frame rail. I wasn't sure how I was going to like this until I put it on my bike, and honestly, it improves the look. It depends on what look you're going for, but I thought this looked really sharp when I put it on my T100. Let's flip this over to the bottom, and the other improvement you're going to see is that over your plastic OEM seat pan, they've done a gel-coated fiberglass. Super rigid, super durable, and they've also upgraded to a steel mounting point in the back. So I've worn through one OEM seat already, so the fact that they've gone to a gel-coated fiberglass, they've upgraded to steel, this is going to be a much sturdier base compared to your OEM setup. The one nitpick that I do have is where they've actually secured the vinyl to the edge. They've bound the edges in some points, but not in others, so you actually have a loose vinyl, and it looks kind of just half-assed, if you will. It's a small nitpick for a seat that really looks great, and it really improves the comfort, but in the future, maybe they could kind of just sharpen up the bottom look a little bit. But again, not a big deal. So talking about installations, we're looking at these steel mounting points. Let's tie that right into installation. Like I talked about in the beginning, a 1 out of 3 on our BSD, or beard scale of difficulty for installation. You're going to have some mounting hardware that's going to come taped to the bottom of the seat, and you're going to have 2 main points that you're going to have to swap over your OEM mounting hardware to this seat. Once you do that, you just simply have 2 bolts in the back, slide the old seat off, slide the new seat on. Again, it took me about 15 minutes in the parking lot using simple hand tools. It's something that anybody's going to be able to do. It's not a heavy lift whatsoever. I think British Customs did a really good job with this seat. it does what it's supposed to do. It improves your comfort and it changes the look of your bike without having to make any major modifications. There's a lot of folks out there using British Custom stuff. If you want to hear their opinions, do me a favor, click below. Read what other riders are liking about the British Custom seats they have on their motorcycles. If you have more questions for us, never hesitate, get us on the phone, give us a call, 877-792-9455, or simply type us out an email, cs@RevZilla.com. Thank you for joining us for this look at the British Customs Cafe seat. I'm Spurgeon. Enjoy the ride.